There are better ways to keep cool. Call KS Services and receive a new Bryant unit with no payments and no interest for 18 months. Stay cool now and pay later. Visit callks.com for more.
Here's your weather video for this Sunday, August 23rd. I'm meteorologist Bill Murray, and lots to talk about this morning, so let's get to it. First, right around 6 a.m. this morning, a few showers still showing up over northeast Alabama. They've been there persistently most of the night due to a convergence zone, really an old front lying around the I-59 corridor. Those will dissipate as we go into the morning hours, but some patchy fog, low clouds hanging around. Temperatures generally in the middle upper 60s north of I-59, lower 70s, as you can see there, south of I-59. Some more showers will probably form again later today along that convergence zone. This is sort of what the ARRR expects to happen. You can see scattered showers and thunderstorms developing. And then later tonight and into Monday, really I think that's more the feeder bands on the outside of Laura. Even though we'll be looking at Marco, we'll see scattered showers and storms developing again tomorrow from one of these tropical systems. Unusual that we have two to talk about at the same time, really unprecedented. This is a severe weather outlook from the SPC showing the threat of severe weather today just offshore. It'll move onshore tomorrow as Marco makes its move onto land. Southeast Louisiana, southern Mississippi, coastal areas of Mobile and Baldwin counties in Alabama under the severe weather threat. If Marco were to move a little more to the east than we expect, that threat might spread more into South Alabama. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of the storms that develop tomorrow afternoon aren't strong, might not rotate, and couldn't pose a problem, but we'll keep an eye on that. Today, highs middle and upper 80s over North Alabama, a few spots hitting near 90, upper 80s. Generally over south central Alabama. Now, this sort of tells the story. Marco, here over the southeastern Gulf of Mexico, has been fighting shear and dry air and just about everything else that can keep it down. But this morning it has had a little bit better of an appearance on satellite, not being borne out yet. At the surface, haven't had a recon plane in there for a little while, but one is en route right now, and we'll have a little better idea in the next few hours. But this storm is obviously much smaller, fighting for its life, moving to the north-northwest at about 13 miles an hour, somewhere about 400 miles south-southeast of New Orleans this morning. And it's going to move quickly across the Gulf of Mexico. Now, back over here, over the Dominican Republic, about to move into Haiti on the island of Hispaniola. This is Tropical Storm Laura. Top winds now 45 miles an hour. But you can see the intense convection with this system, much larger, and holding itself together. It's going to move up the spine of Cuba today and tomorrow, emerge into the Gulf of Mexico tomorrow night, and as it does, it will encounter much less shear than Marco has encountered, and very warm water, and that leads us to believe that it will intensify as it does that. Now, first let's focus on Marco, taking the storms one at a time. This is the cone of uncertainty, that dreaded term that we use that just shows the average forecast error from the National Hurricane Center. Now, this is their forecast track, but their average forecast error over these time periods say that the center could be either side of this line in this cone by this distance. Now, given all the model madness, I wouldn't be surprised if, we stretch this cone a little bit. The Hurricane Center won't change the cone, obviously, but the forecast could change. So we have to keep a really close eye on that. Now, hurricane warnings, southeastern Louisiana. You see those in red. Tropical storm warnings and a hurricane watch, the New Orleans area, Lake Pontchartrain, Lake Maurepas, back into the Morgan City area. This is for Marco. Tropical storm warnings on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. We've got a tropical storm watch on the Alabama Gulf Coast. Now, the system should be near the southeastern Louisiana coast, just south of the mouth of the Mississippi River, around 1 o'clock tomorrow. It's going to be turning to the west. This is in response to a building ridge of high pressure over the southeastern United States. That's going to force the system back to the west. And I wouldn't doubt that a little bit of that is the effect of the second tropical cyclone moving into the area. They tend to begin to sort of dance around each other, and we may see that with Marco. This system may begin to rotate around this common center between the two. Now, these are the global and the hurricane models. They clearly show this shift to the west across southern Louisiana. Normally, a storm moving in this direction across southern Louisiana might be expected not to weaken very rapidly because this is very marshy land over southern Louisiana. But in this situation, Marco is going to be encountering increasing shear. Now, the models take the storm up to Category 1 today, into tomorrow. I can buy that, even though there's some dry air just to the west of the system that may get entrained into it. It's going to be fighting that. Still got some shear that it's dealing with. But I do believe we'll see a hurricane later today when the hurricane hunters are in there. But it will weaken as it moves inland tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night in Louisiana. I think that will be the case. Now, this is the most likely arrival time of tropical storm force winds superimposed on the probability of those tropical storm force winds. And you can see those tropical storm force winds will be arriving along the coast, possibly tonight on the Florida Panhandle, but that probability is very low. The better probabilities, of course, extend from, Mobile County westward into southeastern Louisiana. That's going to be tomorrow morning, generally after 8 a.m. Storm surge is going to be a problem. Water's going to be piling up, especially in that concave section of the coast and just to the east of the center's landfall point. 4 to 6 feet of surge expected, generally from Ocean Springs, Mississippi, back around to the mouth of the Mississippi River and back to the west to Morgan City. We've got storm surge warnings in effect for this area. 2 to 4 feet of surge for the rest of the Mississippi coast and all of the Alabama coast, including Mobile Bay, as well as areas west of Morgan City back to the Texas border. Now, rainfall will be a problem too. I would expect probably, we're going to see 2 to 4 inches with some isolated 7-inch amounts over southern Louisiana, up into southern Mississippi, 2 to 4 inches over coastal areas of Alabama. This is the flash flood risk over the next 3 days. A slight risk sort of corresponds to what we see in the SPC outlooks. That main risk is going to come, really too early, late Monday into Tuesday, and then we'll be watching. The rest of this area will have sort of a marginal risk, as that term that we know from the SPC risk too. Marginal risk of flash flooding across the rest of the area. I think we're going to see probably an inch of rain over, parts of central Alabama over the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll be watching that. We'll kind of get into the models over the next, here in the next few minutes too. Now, this is the WRF. I'm going to use that as my model base. This is for 10 a.m. tomorrow. It shows the heavy rain over southeastern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, and a shield of rain over southeastern Mississippi up into western Alabama. I think this is very plausible. I think we'll see rain and showers developing over Alabama tomorrow. Maybe not to this extent, but there's a good chance of rain tomorrow for much of our state. This is borne out by the GFS. The global model shows this is for Tuesday. That's also borne out by the GFS for Monday, but this is for Tuesday. We see Marco in the Gulf of Mexico, about in the same position that we see Laura in the Gulf of Mexico, about in the same position there, west of Key West, south of Mobile, moving to the northwest, but taking a little more westerly track into a little bit warmer water, less shear, strengthening. But you can see we've got still pretty good rain chances here in Alabama on Tuesday, ahead of that system. So our rain chances will still be high on Tuesday. Now, by Wednesday, the system is beginning to approach the coast. It's probably going to be Wednesday night before it makes landfall, but it looks to me like with a more westward track, our showers and thunderstorms may thin out a bit on Wednesday, possibly fewer in number on there, but we will see scattered showers and thunderstorms still around. Now, this is the cone for Laura, showing that more westward track. We do have tropical storm watches for the Florida Keys. Nothing else for the Gulf Coast at this point. It's just too early. The official track carries the center, obviously, there to the west of Morgan City on the Louisiana coast early Thursday morning, late Wednesday night, with the cone extending back to the New Orleans area on the east and to the west of Houston on the west. So that puts a lot of territory at play, and that's something we'll have to watch. Now, these are the most likely arrival times of tropical storm force winds and those probabilities, those highest probabilities on the Louisiana coast, obviously, back over to Houston, extending to just west of New Orleans. The most likely arrival time is going to be Wednesday during the day in southeastern Louisiana, late Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening on the Louisiana coast, spreading up into central Louisiana through the overnight hours. Now, this is the wind field off of the official forecast about 10 p.m. Wednesday night, showing the center moving in just west of Morgan City. So you would expect the best chance of hurricane conditions to be places like Franklin, New Iberia, Morgan City, perhaps up to Lafayette, Louisiana, there, and you'll have the best storm surge there just to the east of that as Laura comes in a little bit. You can see in blue the stronger tropical storm force winds, which are winds of 50 knots or greater, 59 miles per hour, and the tropical storm force winds of 39 miles an hour, extending over a much wider area back into the city of New Orleans and up into central Louisiana, and a wider field of 25-knot winds extending out, so it can feel breezy over much of southern Louisiana, or southern Mississippi, and all of Louisiana into eastern Texas. Now, these are the intensity model guidance plots for Laura. A couple of those models, especially the hurricane special models, forecast that it'll get up into Category 3 status. That's quite possible. I wouldn't be surprised if we even saw something that got it up into Category 4 before this is over with. Category 4 is 115 miles an hour. That is not out of the question for sure. And then, of course, rapidly weakening after it moves inland. These are the global models and the hurricane models, basically showing that consensus opinion that it'll be over now the western half of the coast of Louisiana at this point. That seems to be a pretty good trend. But the European ensembles checked in with something really interesting on their evening run last night, showing the control over near Houston, and a bunch of the members, all the members really, nearly all of them, in extreme western Louisiana on the Texas coast. And you can see by those reds, much more, much stronger runs there, much stronger members, much stronger potential storms if it gets over there. The water is warmer, and that could really be a problem if the European is right. But it's just
never wait for hot water again with a tankless water heater from Plumbing Experts. Tankless water heaters are easy, convenient, and now more affordable with a no-interest financing for up to 18 months. Stop with the cold showers and wasted water and call Plumbing Experts today.
A few isolated showers and storms. But by Friday, that storm begins to make the turn around the surface ridge. It's in southern Illinois, and we'll see the convergence zone push towards us. And as it does, showers and thunderstorms will become likely for Alabama for late in the day, for Friday afternoon into Saturday. And then I think we'll see improving and slightly cooler conditions. This is Sunday, the 30th of August. I show this to you because the GFS spins up. Look right here. Actually spins up a little tropical depression, maybe even a tropical storm in the Bay of Campeche, moves it up into South Texas and along the lower Texas coast, and eventually takes this out through the Midwest too, but no effect on Alabama's weather. This is what we'll look out to 2 weeks from now. This is Monday evening, September the 7th. That'll be Labor Day. And looks like we'll have another front in the vicinity, and a good chance of showers and thunderstorms. These are temperatures off the national blend of models, showing upper 80s today, middle 80s tomorrow, showing a little bit warmer, with the subsidence on the backside of that, of Laura. Quite possibly we could be back in the middle 90s, but we'll be near 90 at the end of the week, and then maybe some cooler temperatures by the first of the following week. Now, we'll have an interesting weather brains tomorrow night, as long as everything goes well. Neil Jacobs, the head of NOAA, will be joining us for the first 30 minutes, and we'll be really excited to talk to Dr. Jacobs about all things NOAA, National Weather Service, and then we'll turn our attention over to Dr. Jay Hobgood, just propitiously scheduled a hurricane expert. Go figure, the hurricane expert would be a good guest in late August. But we'll talk about a hurricane scale he has, and we'll just talk all things Marco and Laura tomorrow evening on Weather Brains. Join us at 8 o'clock. All the normal channels, all the places you normally pick it up. Check us out at weatherbrains.com if you need to find out how to find us. It's the longest running podcast. It was the original podcast on weather, and still to this day is the longest running one out there. So that's your weather video for this Sunday, the 23rd of August. Going really long today. Sorry about that. Lots of graphics, lots to talk about. But I'll have notes on the blog, have a forecast update around noon. We'll have, of course, continuing posts throughout the day, tonight, tomorrow, all through the week as we track the progress of Marco and Laura. And as I always tell you until we get together again next weekend, keep an eye to the sky because you'll always have something fun to look at.
Never wait for hot water again with a tankless water heater from Plumbing Experts. Tankless water heaters are easy, convenient, and now more affordable with a no-interest financing for up to 18 months. Stop with the cold showers and wasted water and call Plumbing Experts today.